Yup, no fear. Nope. Rich in here, LBRM. Yup, look. It's rich in here. This for the ones that knew me. Y'all don't really know me, so I'm exposing the new me. See, Rich was Christian. Now I'm a free man. That's right, I said it, and I can give two fingers up if you love me or not.
That's peace either way. Came in this world without you, and I'm leaving that way. No, I'm not who I was. Won't be him no more. No longer in disguise. I can't do it no more. Heard y'all wanna debate. I ain't got time to waste. No time for proving you wrong.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Left Brain, Right Mind podcast.
What up, what up?
Now, this show is centered on empowering people from all walks of life to realize the power that they have within and use that power to critically think and to achieve desired results. This show is also dedicated to separating religion from spirituality.
Yes, sir.
So welcome to the Left Brain, Right Mind podcast. I'm Nate King.
I'm Rich Parker here.
What up? What up?
What up with it, Dab?
Now, just give you a little background on us. So me, I was born and raised on the west side of Detroit. I grew up in the Apostolic Church, so I got a strong Christian, strict background. I wanted more, and I knew there was more to life. I definitely gotta pay homage to my mom. She's with the ancestors.
Yes, sir.
Dorothy King, for instilling the power of the mind and knowing that I can accomplish anything that I put my mind to, giving me an entrepreneurship mind, a love for learning. Rich, what about you?
I was born in Chicago, raised in Detroit. Brought up Pentecostal or non-denomination. It'd be confusing. That's one of the reasons why, you know what I'm saying? This is like we doing this, but I think it was like non-denominational. And I was pretty much confused, my whole life growing up on the whole, God situation and all of that. I was told, you told the gospel, the story of Jesus Christ and everything. But as I got older, it got kind of confusing. And you mentioned your mom, so I'm gonna mention my sister and give her her respect. And she's with the ancestors. She left, she transitioned in 07, and that's when my awakening started in 07. So ever since then, I would say like 08. You started in 07, but 08 is when my journey really started into spirituality, because the whole Christian aspect wasn't really making sense to me. So yeah, so that's pretty much me. And now I just talk about it. I used to be quiet about it because of my friends and family. Most people around me don't think like this. So I'm just ready to talk about it now. Like I feel like it's time,
Yeah, same here. Same here. Well, let's talk about, first of all, the name of the show. So Left Brain, Right Mind. So for everybody watching, so people that know me know I'm very analytical, very left brain dominant. And some of those characteristics include analytic thought, logic, reasoning, science and math. I'm electrical engineer by education. Written and spoken language happens on the left side of the brain. Number skills, that happens on the left side of the brain. And a lot of people don't know this, but the left side of your brain controls the right side of your body. Now Rich is right brain dominant.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep. That's like creativity, imagination, intuition, holistic thought, insight, and music awareness. I just found out that about the music awareness, so it makes sense because that's in my veins, in my blood. So yeah, so I'm more right brain dominant.
And also the right side of the brain controls the left side of the body.
Yeah.
Now, important facts about the brain. The brain contains 100 billion neurons and 100 trillion connections. So the brain is very, very powerful. And one of the things that got Rich and I talking, over the years, we started talking about the power of the mind and the power within the brain, and how the brain is, the computer is based off the brain,
Pretty much, yeah.
right?
Yep.
And I was heavily Christian until about a year ago. But we were still able to connect and talk about the power of the mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for those of you who are, Christian or any other religion, this show is for you. For those of you who are not, this show is for you, right?
Yeah, yeah. I just want to add, like, we're gonna be talking a lot about how we came out of Christianity, but and I'm sure Nate will agree, we're not trying to get any converts. You know what I'm saying? We're just here to talk about it. You know, a lot of people. I cut hair, and I find out that a lot of my clients they kind of feel the same way, if not exactly the same way. They're kind of like I don't want to say confused, but it's a lot of questions that come up. So, like I'm saying to you guys, like I tell them, I'm not trying to get anyone to believe anything different. It's just we talk about it to make sense. So, however, if it can help, cool. If not, hey, it is what it is. Maybe you can get something out of what we're talking about, but just enjoy.
And I'm sure everybody feels a great awakening happening, especially over the last 5 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
More specifically over the last 2 years, a great awakening where people are looking for something different, not getting the results, using the church and going to church every Sunday and praying and crying out and basically giving your power over to something outside of who you really are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you noticed that it's like everybody is looking for something, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's been feeling like empty to a lot of like my clients and people that I talk to. And like you said, the last couple of years it's been kind of like confusing to them because during the elephant in the room is what I call it. I don't want to give power to what's been going on in the world. We all know what's up. But like a lot of people passed away who were like had a certain level within the church, you know what I'm saying, looked at as like godly figures. And then there's been a lot of them that checked up out of here. And so other people like, what's going on? Like, I don't understand. And that's how I felt in '07 with my sister. A lot of people said that, she ain't gonna die, she gonna be, alive and this and that. But I can accept the fact that she left. But when you put that with Christ and Christianity in that whole story and say she gonna live just like these people that passed away, from the elephant in the room, it's like it get kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, it gets real weird.
yeah.
One of the things that my journey started probably about 20 years ago, because I had the question of, okay, and again, I grew up apostolic, saved, sanctified,
Yeah.
Holy Ghost filled,
Water
fire baptized.
Oh, yours was fire. Ours was
Fire
water.
baptized now.
Oh, you got to be water now.
I got Jesus on my side, right?
Right.
And I looked around me, and one of the churches that I went to was a bigger name church in the city of Detroit. Not so big now because churches got bigger, but at the time it was like 2 or 3 big churches in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah,
and everybody got a big church now.
Right.
But one of the things that I started questioning that just didn't make sense to me was, okay, you got people who, they have the Holy Ghost, speaking in tongues as the Spirit of God gives the utterance. I was told when you get the Holy Ghost, right, that you got power.
Yeah.
But then I'm watching people die sick obese,
Yep.
mentally ill,
Mm-hmm.
broke,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
And they come on uh they come to church on Sunday, they shout, they run, they speak in tongues, they shake.
It's back to the same.
But it's back to the same thing on Monday,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I started questioning certain things because it just didn't make sense.
Right.
However, I could speak. My mother would call me when she wasn't feeling well,
Mm-hmm.
and I could speak to her and speak to her spirit and speak to her body,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, things would change,
Mm.
right? So I knew.
Without using names like Power of Jesus or
Oh, I would
in the name
use
of.
names. Yeah, I would
Okay.
use Jesus.
Okay.
Yeah. But again, you know, where is that power coming from, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was it really in the name of Jesus? And we're gonna get into that probably later
Okay.
in later episodes, but where's that power coming from? So I want everybody to listen to the next few episodes. But is the power in the vibration that I had when I spoke? Or was the power in the name that was used when I spoke, right?
Well, it was in the. We was told it was in the name.
Well, that's what we were told.
Yeah. But I don't want to put the cart before the horse. But I'm just gonna say it. I've gotten some things in my life. I needed a lot of things, and I was changing everything through the years. As far as like saying the name of Jesus or however I was told I should say it. But during my transformation, I started using like saying spirit and or not using the name. I don't even know why I chose not to. I said I guess I was saying I'm gonna try something different. And so I just say spirit, this is what I need. You know what I'm saying? And it was an emergency. Um I, my mom needed to come to move back, and at the time she needed a place to stay. So I needed a bigger house. And long story short, I said a prayer. I said, Spirit, help the situation out. Mom need a place to stay. I need a bigger place to have her, come here and stay with us for a while. And it happened in like a week. I didn't say in Jesus' name. I ain't say none of that. When it happened that fast, I'm like, wait a minute. I ain't saying Jesus' name. Just try something. And it happened. You know what I'm saying? So I learned it. You don't always have to say in Jesus' name. And again, if you can say in Jesus' name, you know what I'm saying? And because I learned it's really about your the power that you pull from inside. Like a lot of people would give that power to like a deity or something like that, but I found out when you just believe to the fact of that it happens for you. And we'll touch on that later on in the show, but it's not always in the name that for me, you know what I'm saying.
Because we are creators, right?
Absolutely.
So that kind of leads us into the topic, right?
Let's go.
So today's topic is born from the imagination, the power of the mind. So we're going to talk about imagination, right?
Yep.
Um, the power to create a reality based on the magic of your mind. Now, magic, that was a bad word. That was demonic when I grew up, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we're magical people, right?
Yep.
And basically, in my search, as I was looking at the people in the church who were broke, sick, obese, mentally ill,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I started to understand that life is the mind projected outward,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, life is the mind projected outward. So what you think, where your mind is, that's where your reality is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when you start to imagine things, you create things, right?
Yeah.
Um, I think Albert Einstein said, imagination is everything. It's the preview of life's coming attractions.
Yeah, he did say that. Like you can't have everything, like even the room that we're in right now. You see walls, you see ceiling, the table. but everything started from imagination. You couldn't have none of this until you saw it first. In every room you in, everybody that's listening right now, whatever room you in, if you look around, you will see that everything that you see started from thought. That's first. So, every thought is in the creation process. If you think or imagine, like, I want to build a podcast studio, and you get that, that's just a gift from the creator that we have inside of us to be able to imagine, and we'll touch on the science of it. um just imagine what you want visualize, and then you go get it. A lot of people don't know the science of it. You don't have to know the science of it. Just know that the power is coming from within to think and imagine. And like I said before, every thought is in the creation process, then it starts to form. And it's like Nate said, it's like magic pretty much, and it happens. But it happens also, it could happen on a negative tip too. It just depends on what you're giving a power to when you're thinking about something.
Pablo Picasso said, "Everything you can imagine is real."
Mm-hmm.
Man,
Yeah.
everything you can
It's
imagine
already real before it
is
manifests.
real.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
He said he paints objects. He says, "I paint objects as I think them, not as I see them."
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to get into seeing and vision and thinking a little later on in the podcast.
Yeah.
But let's dive a little more into imagination, right? So how do you imagine?
I mean, it's it's kind of hard to explain. How do you? I mean, it's no really guideline to imagine. Like, people are imagining all the time. You just using the images that are projected in your head. You know, you can imagine yourself flying around. You can imagine yourself walking to a store. You can imagine anything. But what people need to understand is it's not just something that happens. Every vision has the potential to become something. Like, you could imagine, like, by accident or default, you just thinking about something may happen. I might get into a fender bender on my way to work, and you just keep thinking that, keep thinking that. Eventually, if you have a fear emotion with that, you are imagining, and you give power to it by your emotion. Something's going to come from that, and before you know it, you be like, man, I remember a week ago, or yesterday, or 2 days. It's in the creation process. So you're imagining with your mind, with the glands that's in your mind. That's how you imagine it.
So basically, what you were talking about is um, the law of vibration, right?
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Because
Yeah,
because you're always attracting, and there's a law of attraction as well.
yeah.
But you're attracting what frequency you're vibrating on,
Mm-hmm. And
right?
everything is vibrating.
And everything is vibrating.
Everything. Yeah.
So what you imagine, when you add emotion behind what you're imagining,
Mm-hmm.
you're tricking the mind into vibrating on the same level as what you're trying to attain, right?
Yeah. 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 That's true. Yeah. Like, they say, if you want whatever you want, become that already and feel the emotion as if you already have it. I've done this. I'm not just saying what I've read or what I saw on YouTube. Everything we talk about, I'm passionate about because I've seen it happen in my life. I used to say, that's how it works, but it's really not how it works. It just is what it is.
It is
You
what
know
it
what I'm saying?
is.
It's not like you gotta tap into something and make it work, and you need, but maybe it could help someone to possibly get what you want, just by us talking about the imagination and the power of the mind and visualization.
Um, so you have the law of vibration, right? And you kind of touched on it. Everything in the universe is vibrating, right?
Yep.
Everything in the universe moves. It
Mm-hmm.
vibrates and travels in circular patterns
It appears to be solid, like it's not moving, but it is.
because there's space between the electrons,
In every
right?
every atom, every electron, neutron, proton, It's space in between all of that. And that this can be everybody could Google everything we're talking about. There's nothing you ain't got to believe nothing that we saying. As a matter of fact, I encourage everyone to not believe what I'm saying, and we're gonna touch on that too because it's not even about belief; it's about knowing. When I grew up in, and I'm my bad for jumping
No,
around,
no,
but
go ahead.
growing up in church, it was always believe, believe, believe. And again, that's cool. You got to start somewhere. But knowledge is everything, and part of the word knowledge, the first part is know, and what you know, you don't have to believe in. So
There is a ancient Kemetic principle,
yep.
and I'm kind of jumping ahead to
We are just the
following
first show though, so you know what I'm
podcast,
saying.
right?
Just the introduction.
But know thyself,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
Which is a double entendre, right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Because you have to know who you are,
Mm-hmm.
and you also have to know for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
Know thyself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so those are some of the Kemetic principles. And for those who don't know or haven't heard about Kemet, Kemet is the name of where the pyramids are. It was renamed to Egypt,
Yeah.
and we've been talking about Egypt, but the real land, the people who built the pyramids were Kemetic.
Yeah. It's Kemet. It means land of black people or the land of the blacks or something like that.
That's right.
Again, you can Google it too. Kemet. Uh, it's KEMIT or KEH. What is it?
Kemet. Kemet.
KEMET. Let me type it in so I can be correct.
Now, just to fall back on the law of vibration real quick, um, and our people understood vibration and the laws of the universe, and that information was stolen and recreated and carbon copied, and that's how you got the Bible and the whole thing of religion, which is just a construct, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It's KEMET too. Just
yep.
so everybody to KEMET. You can type that in your Google search or search engine, whatever you're using. All right.
So when we talk about the law of vibration, we just said everything in the universe vibrates, but that not only in the physical world, but also in our thought world, right? So our thoughts, our feelings, your feelings is an indication of what level you're vibrating on.
Mm-hmm.
What frequency are you vibrating on, right?
Yep.
Your desires, your wills, each sound, each thing, thought, everything has its own vibration
Yep.
unique unto itself,
Yep.
right?
Fear as well too.
Fear, everything you can all of your feelings, they all have a vibration, right?
Yep.
And so one of the things about some of the most common books that everybody reads, and some of the videos and the movies that were made about the law of attraction, they left a lot of this out, right?
Mm-hmm.
They just talked about looking at uh imagine. They did talk about imagination. They talked about feeling. They talked ask, believe, receive, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't talk about reprogramming your subconscious mind, right? And we're gonna get into that to a later show as well.
Yeah. Stay tuned.
Yeah. But the power of your subconscious mind, which is always working, right?
Always.
So
Even when you sleep.
the more you imagine, the more you start to challenge your subconscious mind.
Mm-hmm.
And when you put feeling behind that imagination, right, you start to reprogram your subconscious mind to understand where you're trying to go as if that's where you are.
Yeah. Yeah. And I want to say this too. It's important to change your vibration because vibration is everything because it's energy is everything, and what's making it vibrate and move is energy. So I'm saying that to say, when you have children, if you're someone who you a violent person, angry person, alcoholic, or whatever you are, even if you're a positive person, whatever it is, your cells are vibrating. And I'm speaking to men right now. once you once that sperm cell hits the egg, whatever you were vibrating on at that time, that child will become that. So it's important, like Nate was saying about the subconscious mind, you have to reprogram the subconscious mind, because if you don't reprogram it, you will keep that same generational, I don't want to say curse. It's not always a curse. That generates it's positive, of course, not a curse, but that child will end up exactly like you, and you're not making the world a better place. So it's almost like we have an obligation to change our subconscious mind, which makes the world, which forms the world, makes it a better place, or the same place, or a worse place.
So how do you so we talked about how you can tell if you're vibrating on a low frequency by how you feel, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you change that feeling, right? So I get angry,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I'm at the office, somebody has pissed me off, right? And I'm ready to go slap somebody, right?
Hey, this real too. He ain't just saying this. He done called me a couple of times. I'm exposing you.
I mean, literally in my mind, I have imagined walking up and slapping somebody, right?
Yep, yep. If that person is listening, you know who you are. You need to thank me for calming my nigga down, for real, because you was gonna get slapped, bro.
Couple times. I think I said I was gonna slap him every day, right?
Yeah, right.
So how do you change that feeling, right?
How'd you do it?
So I stopped,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I noticed what I was feeling, because all inside I was just ready to explode, right?
Yeah.
I stopped, I took a deep breath,
Mm-hmm.
and I centered myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought about, what am I grateful for, right?
Yeah.
What makes me happy?
Mm-hmm.
What's important to me? Is what this nigga said over here important? And when I answer that question, nah, that's not important.
Yeah.
What's important is my family.
Yeah.
What's important is my future and my goals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where I've come from to where I am now is important. So that gave me a baseline to be grateful.
Yeah.
And then once I stayed in the gratefulness,
Mm-hmm.
took another deep breath and breathed in that good ass
Good
Prada,
brother,
baby.
baby. I already knew
Shout
you
out
was
to
going.
Ralph Smart, right?
No doubt.
Yeah. So once I did that, shoot, I was able to laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Okay.
It
Okay.
was easy at that point,
Mm-hmm.
because I refocused my energy.
Yeah.
And then I felt lighter. I knew I was over it when I was able to feel lighter, when I could laugh genuinely, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I could move in and out of the office, move around, and I see stuff going on, but it don't even penetrate
How long
me at
did it
all.
take you before from the time that you realized you had to change your vibration before you slapped this nigga until you not slapping him? Like, how long did
So
it take?
so again, I've been studying this for years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've been studying, noticing my vibration, noticing how I feel. So you kind of got to be a little self-aware. So you got to do a lot of self-reflection to understand where you're vibrating. So, and this is a recent story. So that's how I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
say it only took me less than 5 minutes.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, because once I start thinking about what I'm grateful for, what else matters,
Did you
right?
practice that?
No,
Oh, okay. So that was the first time you.
that was the first time I had done it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the first time I had done it. Because again, I know where I'm going,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so if I focus on this low vibrating people, right,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be where they are.
You talking about as far as Goals when you say you know where you're going?
Yeah,
Okay.
goals. Not just so esoteric,
Mm-hmm.
but also from a reality standpoint, right? I know who I am,
Right.
right? I heard someone else say, if somebody makes you angry and you get angry, you're an idiot,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
That doesn't mean we're not human, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean, but we understand it and we strive to master our emotions.
Yeah.
And those are some of the things that, you know, are not typically covered all in one book or all in one shot, right?
Right.
Mastering your emotions, using your emotion as an indicator of what level you're vibrating on, because you want to vibrate on what you're trying to attain.
Mm-hmm. Also, when you if someone makes you upset, like I think we talked about this, like you giving your power to that person, so you become a slave. He's your master, so
Yeah,
you're a slave to that person that made you angry in the moment. I'm guilty of it too.
yeah.
I've been a slave to some people, that got up under my skin, so to speak, you know. But when you do that, you become powerless, and something else is doing something for you. You started attracting other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like more negativity, or you will react to where you will learn the lesson of what happens when you don't control your emotion when someone else is your master.
You're gonna keep attracting situations like that
Over and over. Yeah.
over and over and over, because the universe wants to give you what you want.
Yep.
So you're telling the universe that this is what I want. I want more of this.
Yeah. So really, you should just watch your emotion, because you can't watch every single thought. You got too many of them all day. But if you watch your emotions, try to stay positive, you're always creating, like all the time, even when you don't know it. Your subconscious mind is doing it when you don't know it, or you could be conscious and focused and be thinking about something. But if you stay positive most of the time, then you will have better outcomes than being in a negative vibration.
All
And again,
right.
I know this because I did it myself. Everything I say, it's not just me talking. Like, I wanted to do this because things have happened to me, and I figured that I don't want to just have things happen to me and then I leave up out of here and I didn't say anything or try to help somebody. So everybody can get something from this. It's not always the way that we were brought up. You know what I'm saying? It's the power of the mind within, and I know from experience. That's it.
Yeah, you and I both, Rich, we watched a video where a lady had a tumor,
Yep.
right?
Hmm. I'm
And
glad you brought that up.
um, the people in the room, while the ultrasound was showing the tumor,
Hmm.
did they say Jesus?
Nope.
Okay. Did they say any other deity?
Mm-mm.
They just spoke words
Yeah, they just
and sent positive energy
yeah. I know they were in like a circle. I don't know if they was holding hands or whatever, but whatever the case, we got to pull it back up. I just know that we watched it on the screen, and that tumor was shrinking, like right on the screen
until it disappeared.
until it, yeah.
Yeah.
And they were just, that's really what it is, man. Like, again, if people want to keep saying whatever name, cool, do it. But some people don't. They tired of it. And they confused. So we're explaining what it really is. It's your power, and then when you get with other people that's on the same vibration, it's even more powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Happens quicker.
the esoteric meaning to two or three gathered. In my name, the esoteric meaning of that is if you have the same, energy, same vibration, same goals, and people come together, things will happen. You can do it yourself, but it's more powerful. Again, where two or three are gathered. You know,
Exponentially, right?
yeah,
So you've got And I think Napoleon Hill talked about the mastermind group, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you got people on one thought, one vibration who are pushing a goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so to your point, if you have two or three people, you got two people, you got one person with a positive mindset, vibrating toward a particular goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
That person can accomplish what they're trying to accomplish, right?
Yep.
When you have two, it comes quicker.
Yep.
You got three, it's even faster,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
So, and I don't want to get into the whole time is an illusion thing, right? Because time is really just a measure of distance, right?
Mm-hmm.
From point A to point B. So time is really an illusion, and the time that it takes to get from where you are now to what your goal is all measured on how you're vibrating
Yeah. That's you.
and where your subconscious mind is.
That's you not getting into it. Okay. I'm afraid when you dive into it, what it's gonna be. But yeah, I agree though. Like for sure, it's just a distance in between.
So let's talk about visualization.
Let's go.
Um, is this a tool used to enhance the imagination?
I thought it was all the same thing, but you can explain it, better for me if that's what it is.
So you can imagine anything, right?
Yeah.
You can imagine that there'll be a skyscraper on the east side of Detroit,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, Imagining it there is one thing, but visualizing
Intention.
is the intent behind it.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Visualizing is when you put your emotion behind it.
Yeah.
Visualizing is when you put yourself in your imagination,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
So
Well put.
I'm imagining um that I'm going to have a $10 million business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's fine. But when I sit back and I visualize having a $10 million business, I picture sitting at my desk,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I picture the 50 or 100 employees that I have working for me, right?
Gotcha. Yeah.
I picture it's Christmas time. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
buying Christmas gifts, right? So I'm in the moment, right? And I visualize for however long you want, a minute, 10 minutes or whatever, but I'm in the moment,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So now I'm not only visualizing, but now I'm starting to vibrate on that level, even if it's just for that short period of time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the subconscious mind is reading that vibrational level that you're on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the more you do that, then you can manifest whatever it is you're trying to manifest.
Yeah. So visualization is super powerful. I remember uh Reverend Ike.
Yeah.
He was talking about the theater of the mind. So, that's what you mean, like visualizing what you want. Like I close my eyes when I visualize. I close my eyes and I just use I'm jumping. But the gland in the head. But anyway,
No, we right there. That's
okay,
next.
okay, yeah. And so you know, visualizing what I want is almost like you making your own movie pretty much. And you have intention with that, and it generates power when you add emotion with it. So that's the difference between visualizing and imagining. I'm glad you put that together like that.
Now look how powerful this is because you can actually smell the smells.
Mm-hmm.
If you visualize and sit in that moment long enough, you can almost taste the food right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can. Your subconscious mind keeps all of that memory.
You can hear the sounds.
Mm-hmm.
The mind is just so powerful.
Watch this though. You could, like, if you were a chef, you could imagine how you want something to taste without tasting it before.
Yeah,
We're more, what we're saying. We're more than what we see in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? We some magical beings, bro. Like this is like, it's hard to explain because I think we're using like some Greek alphabet words and definitions to try to explain spirit. So it's really kind of hard to do. We're trying. I'm trying to do it, but yeah, you could taste, like you say, smell, all of that. You know, not to jump ahead, but that's like your astro infinite self. You know,
yeah.
yeah, which is connected to subconscious and all of that stuff, more than what you see in the mirror.
Your metaphysical self,
Metaphysical, yeah, yeah.
your quantum physical
Hmm.
self,
Which
right?
is another way of saying that is spiritual self.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, so we're talking all around the pineal gland.
yeah. Pretty much. Yeah.
Elaborate on the pineal gland.
Well, pineal gland is a gland that everyone has in their head. It's like in the center of the brain. It's about the size of a pea. It's in the shape of a pine cone. Um, Everyone can research this themselves. I've been told and shown us. I forget what link that is. One of these episodes I'll have, if I remember, bring it up. But they say melanated people have a larger pineal, about the size of I think it's a thumb. And during one of the, I think it was World War I or Vietnam War, whatever, the autopsy on black men showed that it was larger. Anyway, but the gland, it secretes serotonin and dynamotryptamine, if I'm pronouncing it right, which is DMT. And with DMT, it releases like color around the pineal, which is how you're able to see different colors, and you can imagine a little better from the DMT. But with the pineal being a part of the brain, your eyes are a part of the brain as well. Your two eyes that you look with have cornea, retina, and a few more like cords that connect to the brain. And again, everything I say, Google it yourself, research yourself. Now the pineal, it has the same thing. It has these retinas, corneas, whatever, and that's an eye pretty much, because if you have cornea and a retina, you have an eye. So everyone has an eye in their head. We were told that, like, the church demonized it because of the Catholic Church, where everything started, demonized everything. So
You're
it
talking
came on
about the third eye.
the third eye,
Yeah.
exactly. Which the third eye. And with that eye, you can see that, visualize, and all that, have dreams. And the pineal gland does all of this for you, and you can also get in there and guide it yourself. With right here, you look, so you see with the eye in your head, and with manifestation things coming to fruition, you look at what you already previously saw. So, yeah, that's what the pineal gland is. Again, Google it, research it. You know what I'm saying? It
But no,
says it right here. I just pulled it up. The pineal gland is a small pea-shaped gland in the brain. This function is fully understood. So you will see the definition when you pull it up. It's super interesting to me.
so the pineal gland, so the pineal gland not only helps you see what you've already saw,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it also can help you see what you've never seen before,
True.
right?
Yep.
Right. So it was, the Picassos, the great artists,
Mm-hmm.
those people use their pineal gland, right, to create some artistic thing that has never been seen before.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like the magic cartridge or something like that. If this is a game that we in, that's like a super upload, like a hard. I don't even know what to call it. It's like the main. The ancients used to call it the seat of the soul. Like if you sit and imagine you activate this pineal gland, there's infinite possibilities. And the so-called powers that be, they know this, been knowing it for years, like centuries, even longer than that. This is why if you look on the back of the dollar, you see an eye and all that, the back of the dollar and all of that. A lot of people say, "Oh, that's the negative, this and that." They made it negative because they know the power of it. And I think that might have been a part of a plan to make us be afraid of our power and who we really are and what we have,
Absolutely.
And everybody, again, when you use your subconscious mind and you visualize the pineal gland, everything is in the creation process. So I'm saying that to say they know this. So every commercial you see, every movie you see, whatever you see, a lot of times it's things put in there to for them to they want you to visualize certain things to make their brand or their business or the world work for them. So that's really what's going on.
I,
Like if I if
no,
I
go ahead.
if I said give me uh two toothpaste brands right now, most people would say Crest and Colgate because you've been seeing that all your life.
Yeah.
Or two pops or soda pops, wherever you are, wherever you state you in, it's either soda or pop or whatever. But you most people would say Coca-Cola or Pepsi. This is because it's been in our we've been seeing it for so long.
I was gonna say Fago.
You was gonna say, okay, well, yeah, but it's a lot more than that. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah.
But it's all about what I heard somebody say, like watching television or whatever device you're using. It's like putting black paint on your third eye because you can't see something is seeing for you, or you allowing it to see for you.
They've also so people have understood this for years. It's
Yeah,
what you just
man.
said,
What?
right? So advertisers use uh this knowledge, right?
Yep.
Um I think it was in the 70s they had to change a law because on the commercials they would flash something in the commercial, right?
Mm-hmm.
That your you saw it but you didn't see it. You didn't remember seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
And it got down into your subconscious
Yep.
and made you behave the way they wanted you to behave, meaning buy this product,
Yep.
look at this product negatively or whatever. So this is all it's psychology,
It
right?
is. Yeah. Your subconscious mind picks up everything. Again, research this yourself. Don't believe nothing I'm saying. For real. Look it up yourself.
Look
Everybody.
look at even playing with the colors, right?
Mm-hmm.
So think of a fast food restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which one you think of?
Automatically McDonald's.
Okay, so McDonald's, what are those colors?
Yellow, red, um,
Mainly yellow and red, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Burger King,
Like a golden, yellow, orangish, yeah.
right?
Yep.
Wendy's.
Red. Yep.
All right. So these colors,
True.
right?
Yep.
They're tapping into something psychological and
Mm-hmm.
into your subconscious, right?
Yep.
You look at Best Buy,
Mm-hmm.
right? Those colors,
Yep. Blue, yellow.
right?
Yep.
Those
Tan, yellow, and
activate
all
a
this.
certain aspect.
Yeah, they know that. This
Yeah.
is all background stuff, man. Like everybody's control don't even know it. You know what I'm saying? These man ain't know. That's crazy. They've been
even
knowing this
even
from
even with social media, it's coming out here within the last few months about um the power of suggestion through memes and through the algorithm controlling what posts you see from your friends on social media versus the ones that it won't let you see,
right.
right? Because they want you to think like the other people or that are thinking this certain way,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then if everybody is not thinking this way, then you get angry at the person who's thinking a different kind of way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, what has happened over the last 3 to 5 years is um you have polar opposites,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you either have to think this way or you have to think this way,
Mm-hmm.
right? You are either a Democrat or a Republican.
Yep.
They didn't want you to choose in this last election other than those two. Well, what if I agree with some aspects of both? Each person, the Republican is going to call you a Democrat,
Mm-hmm.
and the Democrat's going to call you a Republican, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
If I challenge and say that you are a creator, you are God, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm an atheist. Are you an atheist?
No, I don't think I'm an atheist. I mean, I
From the
believe in.
definition of
What's the
atheist,
definition? Let me type it in. What's the definition of atheist?
you don't believe in a God at all.
That's a. I don't know the difference between atheist and heathen. According to the definition of heathen, I would say I'm a heathen, not like I don't believe in no creator God and all of that. A heathen is somebody who doesn't attach themselves to a particular religion. So I guess I'm a heathen. We've been told heathen mean you don't believe in God. So
Yeah.
I believe it's a I'm saying belief. I believe that it's a higher power that created all of this, and we are attached to we're a part of that. Now, atheists. Let me see what the definition of atheist is. Okay, atheist.
Atheist is a belief in no God at all, right? You don't believe in any deity.
That's what it
I
said.
could be wrong,
I ain't doing it. Oh, here we go. Wait.
right?
This ain't nothing but the devil.
A person who disbelieves or lacks belief in the existence of God or gods, right? So that's what an atheist is.
Say it
So
again.
a person who disbelieves or lacks belief in the existence of a god or gods, right?
Are you atheist?
I'm not an atheist
And you would say you're not an atheist because what?
because I believe in the all, right?
Okay.
So let me dive back into Christianity for a second. The
Okay.
Bible says
Uh-huh.
that there's one Lord, one faith,
One baptism.
one baptism,
No, that's right.
one God
Uh-huh.
who's in all, right?
Uh-huh.
And through all. So, um, you know, the esoteric meaning is that we are all one with creation,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So our people, the ancient Cometians would call that the netters, right? The netters is nature, different aspects of nature.
Yeah.
So people look at the ancient Egyptians or ancient Cometians and say that they were polytheistic, and that is a Eurocentric view of our spirituality that they didn't fully understand.
Mm-hmm.
But they knew it was magical, so they copied it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then they twisted it, and then they copied it again, right?
Yeah.
And so when you are in tune with the all, then you understand that the sun is a reverend. I'm getting way ahead of it, but I'm just
I'm
flowing.
just like, yeah, you are, but I'm cool with it. I know it's all good.
When you're when you're in tune with the all, you know that the sun is a representation of God, right?
Mm-hmm.
When the sun is at its highest point
Mm-hmm.
at noon, that is where the term most high God came from, right?
Yep.
Because that is most highest point.
Mm-hmm.
When you understand that, when you look at the trees and you see how they behave through the seasons, you're seeing a representation of God.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to the East Coast, West Coast, and you look at the ocean,
Mm-hmm.
and you understand that the ocean is also a representation of the all,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So we're all connected.
Yeah. So I ain't no atheist neither then,
Yeah.
you know. And you say uh God, when we say God, it's for the sake of argument. It's really like three letters with a definition,
It's
and you
just three
can't
letters.
put
Yeah.
no letters or definitions on the flow of all that is. I'm a, get jump a little bit on just for a half a second on quantum physics, quantum mechanics, and all of that. When you when you observe an atom and you zoom in on an atom and you keep going and keep going, do your research on this. You keep going, you see that the atom and everything that surrounds the atom, protons, electrons, neutrons, and all of that, nothing is solid. So, and everything is made of atoms, right? So, this whole world, every moment that you have, when you look around, from a wall to a tree to your bones, it has atoms. You can see straight through it. So to me, you can't put letters and definitions on the space in between everything throughout this whole universe or universes, depending on how far it go.
Yeah.
So there's no words and definitions and deities. It's like it's too small to explain what this is. You know what I'm
How
saying?
can you explain something so big in three
You
letters
can't.
or five
You can't even
letters?
explain something so big, period.
Right.
You just got to experience it.
So, we have allowed uh people
Mm-hmm.
to humanize something that our people use anthropomorphic ideas, right?
Kim and Kimmit.
Mythology,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
To explain complex concepts.
Mm-hmm.
So we used a man with the head of a dog or a lion with the head of a man, right?
Well, our people anthropomorphize these ideas, but the
Right.
Greeks and Romans humanized it.
Humanized it,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
And so that's where we can say that God is a jealous God, or God gonna get mad at you. God gonna get tired of you out here backsliding,
Yeah.
right? Um, he mad because you played into your natural desires
Yeah. Which
as a
is
human being,
which is
right?
which is dumb to me because that means you giving emotion to this character. Like, say he jealous. To me, jealousy is the weakest emotion, period. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't gonna be serving no God that's got a weak emotion. Like, what is that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It don't make sense. Let me straighten my face out. I get like I'm start to get upset.
Because preachers, um, will come off like they understand God, got a divinity degree, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or they were called to the ministry. So they have a deeper understanding when in fact all you're doing is repeating stuff that somebody else told you,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. And all that came from when you humanize something, like they humanized what we anthropomorphize. Like you have a character that was drawn on the walls in ancient Kemet to describe or show what nature is. And that's what we did. That's what anthropomorphication is. When you humanize that, that's the negative part. They brought a person and said, okay, this is an actual person. This person exists and did this. And that's when it gets confusing. And that's why people messed up, because they get a power to an idea of a person who's emotional, who loves you beyond your understanding, but yet will have you tormented if you don't believe in its ideas or concepts.
That's right. One of the things that our people uh, anthropomorphized.
Mm-hmm.
Did I say that right?
Yeah, it's gonna work right
It's
now.
gonna work right now. Ma'at, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ma'at, the whole concept of Ma'at
Mm-hmm.
is where you get the 10 Commandments from. right?
Okay.
Because of the 42 negative confessions, actually it's 146, I believe, 142, 146 negative confessions. But the main ones are the 42 negative confessions where I have not did X, Y, and Z, and that was condensed down into the 10 commandments.
Right. So yeah, I was gonna say that. I was gonna say explain to the people what my aunt is, so they don't think you talking about your auntie. And then
Right.
again, and also when we talk about anthropomorphication and anthropomorphize, and you all can look that up too. If you don't know how to spell it, just this is the age of technology. Use your phone, got a microphone, say anthropomorphize and anthropomorphication, and you will see what we're talking about. And humanizing and personifying.
Yeah. So my aunt was portrayed as a goddess,
Mm-hmm.
right? So people who don't understand and who want to discredit uh, this spiritual system will say they worshipped a goddess, Ma'at, right?
Mm-hmm.
But really, it was a deity used to explain truth, justice, balance, reciprocity, order, right?
Okay.
And so you got your scales of justice, right? The scales of justice, when you go in any courtroom and you see the scales,
Mm-hmm.
that's from Ma'at,
They got that from our
from
people.
us, yes.
Yeah, amongst other
So
things.
um the your heart when you pass on
Mm-hmm.
is weighed against a feather, right?
Okay.
And if your heart is lighter than the feather, then you get to pass on to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
If it's heavier, there is a man with the head of a jackal, and
Is that literal, or is just that's metaphorically speaking?
it's metaphorically
Okay, good.
speaking.
About to
You know,
say.
there's a journey of the soul, which we'll
Gotcha.
get into in other episodes.
Yeah,
Um,
love that talk.
but just understanding that these were concepts
Mm-hmm.
that our people used to explain. These were myths and mythology stories with esoteric meanings that were used to explain complex concepts.
Now, yeah, now break down if you can break down the myths. A lot of people think myths are just like lies, but it's I learned recently. You can explain it better. You more left brain that what a myth is and how we use myth. Our people use myths to explain the function of nature.
Yeah, for sure. Um, so a myth is like a story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm just going to read from the dictionary. Traditional story, especially one concerning the early history of a people or explaining some natural or social phenomenon, typically involving supernatural beings or events,
Okay.
right? So, um, because our minds, um, in the grand scheme of things, are finite,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you use something like a myth to explain a concept.
Right.
This is what Jesus did when he
Mm-hmm.
did his parables, right?
Mm-hmm.
When he spoke of the parables, he was trying to get across a complex concept, right,
Mm-hmm.
to people. So it was a story with a moral, right?
Yeah. But then again, he was also used as a myth. Well, before him, it was well, all of the deities, even before Jesus, all the sun gods, it was elaborate myths concerning talking about their movement throughout solar cycles or whatever. So yeah, that's what myths is or myths are pretty much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Um, so this just to wrap this up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we covered we're powerful beings,
Mm-hmm.
right? We have the power to create our own realities and environments, right?
Mm-hmm.
We talked about the power of the mind, the magic of the mind, right?
Yep.
We talked about how to um, change your vibrational state based on how you feel,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um,
Pineal.
we talked about the pineal gland and visualization and understanding, um, again, the power of your third eye and demystifying that word, third eye.
Yeah.
Um, we touched on faith, belief, and knowing. I think you did cover that. Faith, belief, and knowing, and what the difference is between faith and belief
Yeah.
and actually knowing, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
so, just based on our background, we were to just believe and
Mm-hmm.
just have faith, right?
Yeah, that was it back then. Yeah.
But we had to have blind faith and belief in that blind faith, right?
Mm-hmm.
And present that as we know,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we know that without anything that's factual,
Mm-hmm.
anything that can be proven, then it really is just we just talking about Santa Claus and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
snowman.
You have to be able to in order for it to be solid knowledge, and it has to be evidence of something. And not to pick on anybody's belief, and if it comes off of disrespectful, please forgive me. But you have to you have to go outside of a book in order to understand what, like, you can't describe something and find the history of something using that same book. You have to go further before that book or those books to understand where it came from, what it is, to get knowledge. If there's no evidence, it's just belief, and you don't need belief when you have a knowing, flat out.
And you know what? It's a little late to do because we're at the end of the show. But Dr. Ray Hagins,
Mm-hmm.
when he gets going to the deep, he about do your hands like this, make a circle.
Yeah, yeah.
And he says, repeat after me. The space inside this circle represents my realm of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
All that I think I know about whatever I think I know is depicted within this circle.
Mm-hmm.
I must keep in mind that there is more to know than what is within the circumference of my awareness.
Mm-hmm.
So when you understand that there's more to know outside of what you've been taught to believe,
Yep.
there's actual historical accounts of things that predate the Bible.
Oh yeah, for sure.
When you start to break open the chains of a religion and what your pastor taught you, a lot of people, they go to church and they can repeat what the pastor said, but they don't know if what the pastor said is in the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, they ain't researching
They didn't
themselves.
research it themselves.
Yeah, you
They
gotta.
didn't know thyself.
Yep. Yep. And if you choose to know yourself, know thyself, some people don't. But if you do, you research outside of those collection of books, you know? And I want to say, before I forget, and don't forget your point, before I forget, I also want to encourage people to really look up pineal gland and how important it is to you. And also understand that fluoride does the pineal gland damage. So look that up and research that. I mean, it's actually images that will show you what fluoride is doing to the pineal gland. So I just wanted to say that people need to know how important that gland is, man. Like, that's everything. We create this world from that gland, and the mission of these so-called dark people, or whatever you want to call them, is to calcify, if I'm using the word correctly, the pineal gland. They don't want you to be able to use it because that's your power. You're doing this, you know, you're doing. I want everybody to know that you're creating your world around you. Whatever you think about, it's in the creation process. Again, last thing, if you don't agree with what we're saying. You don't have to agree. And we're not trying to get people to walk away from their faith, no matter what religion you observe, or whatever.
Yeah,
If
we're not
it's
looking for
we're
converts.
not looking for if you're Muslim or what's
Buddhist,
Buddhist, Nation of Islam. It's funny, all this they break, just like you got Christian,
Jehovah's
but yeah,
Witnesses,
yeah,
and
exactly,
Mormons, and
all of
yeah.
that, whatever it is. We're not trying to get you to think like us. However, if you're tired of how you've been raised and things are getting a little confusing, that's why we're here to show you how you can look up certain things that will help you in your spiritual journey, because these things have happened to us, as far as being uncomfortable, not making sense, and then us researching, then it makes sense for us, because we all do have a higher self and a spirit that is guiding us. Everyone is here with a guidance system, like a I don't know, you call it ancestors, angelic help, whatever name you want to give it. You're born with help, but it's not in a deity the way that we've been brought up. So do your research. I'm talking too much.
No, you're not. That's good.
If you choose to. Some people don't want to. They just want to stay right there where they at, and that's your journey. If you want to stay in school, Sunday school, whatever school, that's you.
But ask the questions, and I think that's really the core of what this podcast, and how this podcast was born, right?
Mm-hmm.
To analyze, to think, to understand the power that you have within you to create your new reality,
Mm-hmm.
right? To push our people further, to take it to the next level, right? And then taking it to the next level and pushing us further, we got to go back. We got to go back to our original man. We got to go back to our original spiritual system. We have to understand that we created science and um, philosophy,
Yeah.
writing, right? Our people were the basis of civilization,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
so when you connect with who you really are, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah. Yeah. And no, that you're doing it. Like, to give your part, and you can edit this out if I go too far or whatever. I don't even care no more. Look, if you don't give your power to a deity, if you want to, cool, whatever. But for the people who kind of think like me, or who would like to think this way, just think about what the world through right now. It's deity or a person or whatever. How did it get there? Like, I heard somebody say, well, God gave people to make this stuff to whatever they want people to shoot inside of them, whatever. God made these medicines. Okay, well, how did it get to where it is now? You know what I'm saying? That's what I don't get. Like, the person that you give your power to allowed it to get messed up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, it just don't make sense to me. It
Yeah,
don't make sense. And I said that to say, I know it's people who feeling like this because they sat in my chair.
yeah,
I'm a barber. I got pastors that I cut who won't tell this stuff to their congregations, and they feel like it's been fucked up. I don't know another
yeah,
word to say right now. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? It's
yeah.
just it's. So I'm like, it doesn't make sense, bro. Like, it doesn't. And I'm speaking not just on my frustrations, but theirs too. And they're afraid to say something. So I'm like, I'm gonna say it. All these pastors and people who faking around and still going to church and stuff, talking about some in my chair, man, this ain't right, man. I don't feel like, man, just stuff just don't make sense no more, man. I'm like, okay, well, you ain't gonna talk about it. I'm gonna talk about it. So we're here to help out, and maybe something we said could help. You know, and if not, keep
Amen.
listening, because it's gonna be something that we say that's going.
Amen.
I over talk sometimes,
All right, now may the Lord watch. No, I'm
but I
just
like talking because my voice relaxes me.
all right. So everybody, look for us on ambassadorstudios.com. That's going to be in the description. Also, leftbrainrightmind.com.
Mm-hmm.
Like us and subscribe. Like us on Instagram and Facebook. All right. We welcome your comments. We welcome your feedback. Thank you for tuning in.
Again, no disrespect to anybody's religion. We don't want to come off like that. We just talking. Okay, no doubt. All right. One love, man.
All right. Peace.